Hey guys, okay, so we're going to start lesson 1-5 in our Envisions math, talking about division and how many equal groups there are. By the end of the lesson today, we should be able to say that they can use repeated subtraction to understand and solve a division problem. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our solve and share. All right, it says,
Lee made 12 tacos. He wants to give some of his friends 2 tacos each. If Lee does not get any of the tacos, how many of his friends will get tacos?
okay, so it tells us how many tacos he has, and he says that he wants 2 tacos for each person, okay? So we're going to use our counters to go ahead and set this up. If he has 12 tacos, so let's add those now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so he has 12 tacos. Now it says that he wants 2 tacos for each person. So 2 tacos each. So we can put them in groups of 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good. So now we have all of our little pieces, all 12, put into groups of 2. All right. So if Lee does not get any tacos himself, how many of his friends will get tacos? Well, now we have to just count the number of groups he has. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 6 tacos here, or 6 groups of tacos. So 6 friends will get tacos. So what I did here was basically we started with the total amount of 12 tacos. We separated them out into groups of 2 each, and then we just counted how many groups we created. Today, during our lesson, we're going to be using the same kind of thing to solve these problems, but instead of just counting them out like this, we're going to use subtraction and actually skip counting backwards in order to get to our final number. So here we go.
How can you divide using repeated subtraction? Think about this question during the lesson. June has 10 strawberries to serve to her guests. If each guest eats 2 strawberries, how many guests can June serve? Look at the bar diagram that shows the division. What part shows the total number of strawberries? Berries.
Okay, so looking at our bar chart here, as well as the little line up here that has our 10 strawberries, we know that this 10 is our total because it's stretching over the whole length of a bar graph.
The line above the bar shows the total. There are a total of 10 strawberries. Why is there a 2 in the box? It shows that each guest will get 2 strawberries. What does the arrow stand for? The arrow stands for the number of guests who will get 2 strawberries. How can you use subtraction to solve this problem?
Okay, so if we already know how many we have in total, right? And we know that each group is going to have 2. We're just trying to find how many groups of 2 we need. We can subtract 2 each time from 10 to find out how many times we need to make a group.
You can use repeated subtraction to find how many groups of 2 are in 10. How do you know when to stop subtracting? You stop when you get to 0. Then you know that there are no more groups of 2 to subtract.
See what I was talking about? You start at your total of 10, then you take 2 away, Again, skip counting backwards instead of forwards. Skip counting backwards by 2, you get to 10. Take away 2 more, you get to 6. Take away 2 more, you get to 4. Take away 2 more, you get to 2. And then take the last 2 and you get 0. So this tells us how many times we can take away 2. If we count up our 2's here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means that there are going to be 5 groups of 2 to make our 10 total again. So let's try it ourselves. It says drag the strawberries to the mat to show how many guests can get the 2 strawberries. So like I said before, if we have 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, 4 groups of 2, and our 5 groups of 2. So now let's say June has 10 strawberries to serve her guests. What if instead of 2, they ate 5 strawberries each? Let's use our math that we know to represent the problem and find how many guests could be served. So if we have our 10 strawberries again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay? We know that there are 10 to start with. We know now that the people are going to eat 5 at a time. So we can have our 10 take away our first group of 5, will leave us with 5. Okay? Then we have to take that 5 and take away 5 more to get us down to 0. All right? That means that we know, because of these 2 5s here, that 10 put into groups of 5 is only 2 groups. The other way to do through the drawing would be to circle around 5 of one kind and then 5 of the other group. Okay? Again, using that repeated subtraction to get down to 0 helps us understand, okay, there's 1 5 here, there's 2 5s here. 10 divided by 5 is 2. All right? Okay. Now we have our guided practice. It says there are 3 boxes with 2 toys in each box. The number of toys that can be expressed as 3 times 2 equals 6. What is it meant by 6 divided by 3 equals 2? And the reverse of 6 divided by 2 equals 3. Well, it's the same idea. If we had a total of 6 counters here, right? So there's our 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. If we have 6 counters here, 2 groups of 3 is what that multiplication sentence says, or 3 groups of 2. See, 1, 2, 3, or 2 of 3. If we divided by 3 here, so 6 our total, divided by 3, we would be left with 2 groups, right? Or if we divided it by 2 instead, 2 in each group, then we'd have 3 groups. All right? So in all, the first number in your division sentence will always be your total number of items. In this case, 6. This division sign is telling you put into groups of, and then it'll tell you how many groups it's going to need. So if we put it into groups of 2 groups, right? Put it in groups of 2. So groups of 2, you end up with 3. Versus if you have groups of 3, then we would only need 2 groups. All right? So think of your division sign telling you put into groups of. All right? Keep that in mind as you're working. Again, numbers 4 and 5 are working with that repeated skip counting subtraction. 14 minus 7, 7 minus 7, telling us how many groups of what kind you're needing. Go ahead and complete number 4 and 5 here, as well as 6 and 7 on our independent practice. Make sure that you guys are also doing your quick checks at the end of the day. I do need those to be turned in, submitted every single day, because it helps me understand if you're getting what it is that I'm teaching you. All right? Make sure you check on Savas Realize. That's where those quick checks are. And that's it for lesson 5. Bye, guys.